Massive update to the Super Dragon Stone 11, but is it worth it? How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan battle video. In today's video, we are taking a look at the units that are available with the Super Dragon Stone 11 and determining whether or not they are worth your hard-earned coin. After all, while the list has been updated, it's a pretty steep price to pick up this stone if you are a pay-to-play player, so we need to determine if any of them are worth the price. So let's start by taking a look at the characters who are available. So in previous years, pretty much all the way up until this point on global, JP has had a bit of an introduction to the new system through the anniversary, but up on global, pretty much up until now, the only available units with the blue dragon stones were the second generations of Dokkan Fest, right? From the Tech Zamasu all the way to the AGL Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku. And they were okay, right? The Tech Golden Frieza still's got a lot of use. This Goku Black can be useful in some lower content, like the Corroded Body and Mind mission for Legendary Vegeta event. This guy can actually still be useful in some content, provided he doesn't have to take a hit. He's a very good healer. But other than that, there aren't too many uses in today's content for these guys. So obviously the list needed to be updated. Now on JP, they ended up updating the list with the 120 leads, which was very interesting. So it made sense given where things are at, right? The Red Dragonstone, honestly, these guys should all be moved to the Red Dragonstone at this point, and then these should just be the baseline for the Blue Dragonstone. I had always said that, and then they finally did it around the anniversary on JP. But now, this year, Golden Week, they've gone a step further, and they've added some Easy A Dokkan Fest category leads. Now, granted, 2 of these have not yet Easy A'd on Global, but the rest have or are on their way. So, we have pretty much everybody on this list is an Easy A unit or soon to get theirs, whether it's the 120 leads or the Vegito Blue and the AGL Rose, or all of these guys here. The only 2 on Global, I think, that haven't gotten their Easy A are Fizz 17 and STR Super Poo. Fizz 17 should be the next Easy A in June during the Super 17 celebration, unless they decide to move things around. And the STR Super Boo will Easy A during the anniversary. So now that we've got that out of the way and we see who the units are and who is available, let's take a look at my top recommendations, and they are in no particular order. Number 1 from this list here, right in the middle, I would say that if you were going to pick a stone character up, I would argue it should be one of the 120 leads, if only because these guys don't show up as often, and if you're picking this stone up, it's probably more for collection purposes anyways. Now, that said, if you were to pick up one of the 120 leads who have Easy Aid, I would honestly say the AGL Super 17, if you were missing him, is probably the best choice out of that group. Simply because, right, post Easy A, not only is he 130 lead for Extreme AGL, he is greatly raising his attack and defense for the turn, and reducing damage and building up an extra damage reduction up to 30%. So we're talking about a unit who can get up to 70% damage reduction, right? So even at 55%, that is a pretty significant buff. And on the new Super 17's team, along with the Tech LR 17, pretty good combination, right? He really helps out the Tech LR, and he really helps out that new Super 17, as he can provide some good slot 1 coverage up until you're ready to transform him into Super 17. So definitely for the 120 leads, I would argue that he's probably the best selection there. Otherwise, if you're going back to the 120 leads, if you're or less than the 120 leads, if you're someone like me who's missed out on a lot of these characters because you joined the game way later, these guys almost never show up on a banner. I think the last time I saw one of these guys on a banner was this guy and the Vegeta, and they were on the Tanabata banner, right? Last year. Otherwise, I haven't really seen any of these guys on a banner as of late. So if you were to pick up one of these guys for collection purposes or for use, right, it's probably the Tech Golden Frieza. Now, like the 17, his usefulness comes in his damage reduction, right? He works a lot like the AGL LR Golden Frieza and the Sub-EZA AGL Golden Frieza, in that he is reducing damage received by 80% when HP is above 50%. He still gets an extra damage reduction of 50% when you fall below the HP, so he's a little bit better than the AGL one in that regard, in that he doesn't completely lose his damage reduction, but the drop is still pretty significant. But he's definitely a good pickup if you were to pick him up. I don't really recommend picking up, even unless you're like a super collector, right? I can't really say that any of these guys are worth your pickup. The Vegeta can stack defense, but as you've seen in one of our recent videos that we kind of threw him just kind of on the team, he took a while to build the defense and can be kind of scary early on in some of the more difficult content. So I don't know that I could recommend him either. Really, Golden Frieza is the best choice here. So of the two groups, 17 from the 120 leads and Tech Frieza from the second generation Dokkan Fest. So that brings us to the category EZAs. These are the ones that most of you have probably picked up the stone to acquire, right? There's about only two that I could really say are really worth your, well, actually three. There's three, right? So first and foremost, if you were missing any of these, let's just say you were missing all of them, right? Your number one pick, I would say, is probably the STR Super Buu. This guy becomes insane upon his EZA during the anniversary, so I would honestly say he's your best option. He is greatly raising his attack, but he's also having the ability to, once he transforms, right, you see he gets his transform, like if you get into the Ulton phase, the dude is insane, right? He's greatly raising his attack for 3 and defense for 3 turns, so he can end up very, very powerful. He's also got the recovery, he's got an extra 180 attack and defense. You're also getting another 120%, another 80% attack. He ends up being very, very powerful. And even if you don't get that, right, like his Buu Piccolo form is still pretty good. Honestly, his Gotenks forms is probably the worst form of the 3, but more than likely, when utilizing this guy, you'll more often than not see the Buu Piccolo or the Buhan forms, and they are very, very powerful. Even at 55%, they're going to be extremely powerful. I think the only thing holding these guys back is the same thing that held out back the LR Super Buu, is these guys don't have a 200% team yet, right? What are they? Majin Buu Saga, Transformation Boost, Artificial Life Forms, Kamehameha, Final. Yeah, they are not on any 200% team just yet. But that should tell you how good this are for as well as they were performing. You can load up anybody's showcase from the anniversary that had these guys, and you can see just what I'm talking about with how good these guys are post EZA. So if there was one character out of here, if you were missing all of them that you should go for, it's probably the STR Super Buu. Now, if you already had this guy and you're looking to pick up some others, I do have a few other recommendations, and again, in no particular order. The next choice, I would say, is probably this Kid Goku. A lot of people kind of called his EZA underwhelming, and I think it's just because at the time of the release of his EZA, I mean, the Kid Goku celebration was kind of dry. There wasn't a whole lot to do, and so and even Kid Goku himself, Path to Power of Goku, people weren't really paying much attention during that celebration, and so this EZA got overshadowed also by the build-up to the following celebration, right? We were just coming off of the superhero celebration and leading into predictions for Saiyan Day leading into the next month. So not too many people were paying attention. Also, consider we were going into the STR Carnival Goku celebration as well, so he kind of got left in the dust. And I say that to say that people missed out on a lot. This guy's actually really good. You know, you guys can check out my Grand Tour on the End Kid Goku. He's insane. He's actually really, really good on the Path to Power Goku team. He's actually really good on the new Dokkan Fest 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament Goku's team. The guy works really great in the 3rd slot because he can hold his own. Whether you've got him linked with anyone or not, he's launching extra supers. He's raising his attack and defense with each one. His active skill can do quite a bit of damage once he's gotten a bit of build up in him, and he's just getting more and more powerful with each attack that he performs, and he's launching his own additional attacks. So he's really good. I would definitely recommend. I would say, like, you wouldn't be wrong if you picked him up as one of your choices. Another good choice is actually the Dokkan Festival Int Bardock. Post ECA, he's actually really good. He's a good supporting unit for all superclass allies, provided you have a Power Beyond Super Saiyan category ally attacking the same turn, which is pretty easy to do, right? He's on a lot of the good categories that would have characters that are on Power Beyond Super Saiyan, right? Pure Saiyans, Goku's family, Powerful Comeback, Power Beyond Super Saiyan itself, obviously Bond of Parent and Child. Like, he's really, really good on like the LR Gods team, or like if you're running a team to run the AGL LR Gohan, very, very powerful supporting unit for that LR Gohan, right? I've had a few turns where I've run the LR Gohan, the STR Carnival Goku, and this guy on a turn, and so that's like that is 100% attack support, right? If you have Carnival Goku launching his attack first, plus everything that Gohan is doing, ends up being some pretty crazy turns. And mine is only 55%, unlike some of these other easy A's I'm mentioning to you. Mine is only 55%, and he's working pretty well because he is raising his defense for the turn. He does launch an additional attack when you have this, so that's 2 defense raises, and if you've got some additionals built into him, that's a possibility for 3 defense raises, which is more than enough if you're running him as a 3rd slot floater. So could definitely recommend picking him up if you did not pick him up. And like some of the others, he's one of those characters that just doesn't come around very often, so I wouldn't say you were wrong for picking him up. And my final recommendation, well, I didn't pull up his character. Honestly, the 17 is not that bad. He got a lot of hate for his EZA, and I think it's more just because of the celebration he showed up in, but he's honestly not that bad. He helps out the teams that he's on. He's more so suited to a Reps of Universe 7 team, so when the Blue Kaioken Goku EZAs, he's one character that can help out that team as we start to build up more Universe Survival Saga, Reps of Universe 7 characters. So he's honestly not a bad pickup either if you were missing him. The rest of these guys, I don't know that I can recommend them. And Golden Frieza, they really dropped the ball with him. He's okay, but he is not what he should have been, what he needed to be given his conditions, right? These guys are okay. The Goku has the advantage of having damage reduction, which can be helpful. I've used him in Red Zone Broly before. It works quite well. The Tech Frieza, the healing is nice, but the problem with both of these is you have to prioritize their supers or they lose out on a lot of defense, which actually ends up harming the team around them, right? So they show up a lot, so I wouldn't say that I would necessarily recommend them. The Tech Gogeta, as much as it pains me to say, he's definitely fallen off, and I can't say that I would recommend pulling him. The Fizz Omega Shenron is actually really, really good. However, he doesn't have a place. He doesn't have a team. He doesn't have a home. That's his main issue, right? Inhuman D's Shadow Dragon Saga Extreme just doesn't have the support it needs to justify picking this guy up for anything. And then Tech Hit's good for Super Battle Road. He works well on Universal Survival Saga or Universe 6, but again, his main issue is just not having a home. He's not really good in long form content. He's better for short Super Battle Road type content because of his ability to stun. That's where his utility comes in, but he's not really viable for the current level of content. So I would definitely say that those are my recommendations for the category EZAs: Super Boo, 17, Kid Goku, or Bardock, in no particular order. For the 120 leads, Super 17, there's really no reason to pick up anyone else. As much as I love the Super Saiyan 4s and Vegito Blue, he's going to get you the longest run, most bang for your buck, because we are talking about spending money here, right? And then if you really had to pick up one from here that you were missing, I would say it's probably the Tech Golden Frieza is going to get you the most bang for your buck. So anyways, guys, that is my recommendation for who you should pick up with the new blue Super Dragon Sun 11. Many of you guys asked me for this recommendation, and I just wanted to make sure I addressed it for you guys. So anyways, guys, that is the video. If you liked the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let me know if you decided to pick up one of these characters. Who was it? And do you feel that it was worth it? I honestly, as much as I want to say, I don't know in particular that any of these characters are worth the price point, but I'm curious to see what you guys are thinking. Otherwise, guys, if nothing else, thanks for watching, and aloha.